Imagine stepping back in time, walking the streets of ancient cities, fighting in wars you've only read about, or standing before kings and queens as history unfolds around you. Sounds thrilling, right? Well, that's the magic of historical fiction. It's more than just a story. It's a time machine that blends fact with imagination. But how much of it is true and how much is pure fantasy? In today's episode of Historic Journey, we'll dive into some of the most compelling historical fiction books ever written. From ancient empires to world wars, these novels transport us into the heart of history, while still keeping us guessing about what really happened. So, what exactly is historical fiction? It's a genre that takes real historical events and people and weaves them into fictional tales. Think of it as history with a creative twist. But how much should we trust these stories? Well, today we'll break down a few books that have made waves in the world of historical fiction, exploring how closely they stick to history and where the authors let their imaginations run wild. The Pillars of the Earth. Let's start with Ken Follett's masterpiece, The Pillars of the Earth. Set in 12th century England, this novel brings to life the world of knights, kings, and, most importantly, the construction of a grand cathedral. But it's not just a story about architecture. It's about power, ambition, and betrayal. Historically, the backdrop of this book, the anarchy, the struggles between the church and state, is spot on. Follett takes us through the era's political chaos and makes it feel real. But while the historical setting is accurate, the characters and some of the plot twists, pure fiction. Next up, The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, a gripping tale of two sisters in Nazi-occupied France during World War II. This book is all about the resistance, courage, survival, and sacrifice. While the setting of war-torn France is historically accurate, the characters are fictional composites of real women who risked their lives during the war. It's a beautiful, heartbreaking story, but it makes us wonder how many untold stories like this are out there in history. Another stunning World War II-era novel is All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. It follows the lives of a blind French girl and a young German soldier whose paths eventually cross in occupied France. It's a beautifully written, heart-wrenching story of survival, humanity, and the unlikely connections formed in the worst of times. This book perfectly blends historical accuracy with creative storytelling. Doerr captures the horror and chaos of war while focusing on the individual stories of those caught in the middle. Like The Nightingale, it's a fictional tale that draws inspiration from real historical events, and it leaves a lasting emotional impact. Why does historical fiction captivate us so much? Because it puts a human face on the grand events of history. Through these characters, we experience the emotional and personal side of wars, revolutions, and even ancient civilizations. It allows us to feel history rather than just read about it. If you haven't dived into the world of historical fiction yet, you're missing out. These books are not only gripping and emotionally charged, they're also educational. You'll walk away with a deeper understanding of the past, all while enjoying a fantastic story. Whether you're interested in the rise and fall of empires, the intimate details of everyday life, or the great wars that shaped the world, there's a historical fiction book out there for you. So, if you want to experience history like never before, make sure to check out the books I've talked about in the description below. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to Historic Journey for more deep dives into the world of history, both real and imagined. And remember, by clicking the links below, you're not just buying a book, you're buying a ticket to the past. Happy reading.